You are watching 10 Tampa Bay Plus, and right now we are following breaking news. A man is now in custody after officials say he barricaded himself inside a vehicle at an apartment complex.
Yes, and this happened near the James A. Haley Veterans Hospital. All right, we're going to take that press conference right now.
Mall. I stand here extremely grateful that this incident was resolved with one person sustaining very minor injuries, especially on a day when a Tampa police officer was shot. Just before 10 a.m. this morning, a maintenance worker here at the apartment complex was on her routine driving throughout the complex and saw our suspect, Andrew Sinkelis, 29 years of age, stabbing the ground of the parking lot just outside his car. He was growling, barking like a dog, saying words that were unintelligible. She did the right thing. She didn't confront this individual. She went back to the apartment office, called 911, and notified her manager and as the assistant apartment manager. The two of them decided, hey, we're going to go out and see what's happening here today. There's been confrontations with this resident in the past. So they go out there, and as they pull up in their golf cart, he takes a firearm, points it at him, and so they immediately put the golf cart in reverse. He starts firing. He opens fire at that time. One of the bullets had struck the plexiglass area of the golf cart, and the ricochet caused a minor injury to the manager's arm. The bullets that he was firing also struck and entered two nearby apartments. Fortunately, again, I stand in front of you expressing my gratitude that with at least 6 shots fired from our suspect, nobody was seriously injured. Our suspect is, let me back up, at this time, deputies arrive on scene within moments, and during this time of their arrival, our suspect has retreated into his vehicle. So now we have a barricaded subject. They had tried to attempt conversation with him, but again, all he is doing is screaming unintelligibly, and at this time taking the firearm, putting it underneath his chin, to his head, but not pointing it at anyone. At one point, he puts the gun on the dash. He takes the gun, picks it back up again, and puts it on the seat of the driver's side of the passenger seat. During this time, they had tried to establish some type of rapport to try to de-escalate the situation. But again, those efforts are futile at this time. He's non-communicative with anybody. SWAT team gets here quickly, is able to assemble, moves in. As they move in with two of our armored vehicles, they discharge 4 rounds of a gas irritant inside the vehicle, but again, ineffective. The gas is ineffective. I think the gas was affected the SWAT operators more than they did our bad guy during this time. Because even after this was over and I walked up, it was still a strong smell of this gas irritant coming from the vehicle. So they made the determination, since the gun was placed, that there was a small opportunity, a small window. So they moved in, opened the door. They attempted to retrieve our bad guy from the car. He is being combative. So they used their taser. The taser is effective at this point. They're able to gain control, remove him from the vehicle, and place him peacefully under arrest. Michael Sinkelis is now facing 2 counts of attempted murder. We now know that he's a recent resident, a new resident of this apartment complex. He just moved in June of this year. We are told he moved here after he was discharged from the United States Marine Corps. I have to tell you, there's a lot of gratitude here today that there were minor injuries, that none of our deputies were injured, but I also have to take a moment to thank our county commissioner, our county commission, our county administrator, and this community. This is a textbook example of how when you provide your local sheriff's office the tools, equipment, and training they need to operate, incidents like this can be peacefully and swiftly resolved before anyone has the opportunity to get further injured. Is there any questions that I could attempt to answer at this point? Yeah, Michael Sinkelis, 29 years of age, and we'll certainly put that out to you. The spelling's a little different than you normally would think, so we'll get that information out here very shortly. Yes, and that's why I asked that the golf cart be staged here. Imagine pulling up, they're a very short distance, 5 to 10 yards away. When he pulls out the gun, they're like, I shouldn't be here. He's gonna kill us. They put it in reverse, and as you can see the bullet hole here, I'm still baffled how one of these representatives from the apartment complex, the manager or assistant manager, wasn't struck. I can't believe that they were only struck with a ricochet or a piece of the glass, and that we're not talking about something more serious. His car's in the rear of the complex. We do have some photos of that. We'll release that as well, where you can see where the SWAT operators deployed gas trying to get him to exit the vehicle. He did go to the hospital to get checked out. He's fine. The only thing wrong with him was the prongs, where the prongs went in. There's abrasions there, but again, no serious injuries to him or any law enforcement officer that responded to this incident scene here today. If I understand correctly, you're asking me if he made any type of statements or any type of threats? Oh, probably not. Again, that's up to the detectives. I don't believe that that him being under the influence played a role in what occurred here today. All right, thank you, everyone. Stay out of the heat.
All right, that was Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister giving us an update on this very unfortunate situation in Hillsborough County.
Yeah, a morning filled with commotion out there. He told us that his crew took some time to try and apprehend the person involved in this. We're working to get confirmation on the individual's last name and first name. But we do know that this man is 29 years old. According to Sheriff Chad Chronister, this call came in just before 10 o'clock. A maintenance worker saw the man that we're talking about, the 29-year-old, stabbing into the ground and barking and also shouting some things that were unintelligible. They couldn't understand what he was saying.
That's right. Very erratic behavior is how they describe this. And they say that the people that maintenance worker actually did not confront the person that was key. They say that was the right thing to do. Went ahead and called 911, then tried to involve some of the apartment managers and such to try to figure out exactly what was going on. And we do know that one of the people was hit in the arm, minor injuries. The bullets also went through the apartment. So we are also learning, though, that fortunately no one inside any of those apartment buildings were hurt. But I mean, you know, this has just been such a busy morning for investigators all across Hillsborough County. And it really just highlights, you know, how dangerous the day-to-day can be for our law enforcement officers.
Unpredictable. And something else that Sheriff Chad Chronister pointed out, at least 6 shots that were fired, but none seriously injuring anyone there. But deputies arrived and tried to get a hold of this guy that they're talking about, the 29-year-old man who then fled the area, barricaded himself inside his own vehicle, and at certain points that weapon that we're talking about that fired at least 6 shots aimed the gun at his own head as investigators and deputies on the scene tried to negotiate with him. At one point, he placed the gun on the dash. That is, of course, when they moved in, but not before SWAT units tried to deploy some sort of gas to get him to cooperate. That did not work. In fact, Sheriff Chronister says that may have impacted the SWAT team more than the individual that they were trying to get to cooperate.
Yeah, that's right. And we can confirm now that the suspect's name is Andrew Sinkelis. We're trying to get the right pronunciation of that as well. Right now, we're learning, as of now, no criminal history that they can locate at this time. time, but we know that he was recently discharged from the Marine Corps.
Yeah, they were familiar with him. They also said that he had just moved in there back in June, as you said there, Emerald, recently discharged from the Marine Corps. And so the crew was familiar with him, but obviously not familiar with this erratic behavior that Sheriff Chronister was talking about. They moved in, opened the door, tased him, and then followed that with an arrest. Now he's facing 2 counts of attempted murder. Andrew Sinkellis.
Yeah, and one of the things that Sheriff Chad Chronister said during this news conference, that this was a textbook example of how giving the sheriff's office money to make sure they have the resources to handle situations like this, that they are adequately staffed, that they have all the support that they need so that they can resolve these types of situations peacefully. He really wanted to highlight how important that is for the sheriff's office.
And you're seeing the area cordoned off there. Sky 10 giving you some views that we saw earlier today. You also saw the golf cart. Sheriff Chronister saying he wanted people to get an idea of exactly what they were dealing with when they happened upon that scene right there. And we did tell you this has been a bit of a busy morning for law enforcement. That scene right there that you're looking at, about 4 miles away from all the commotion that was taking place at Busch Gardens for a separate incident.
Yeah, that's right. That other incident that we were talking about, involved a Tampa Police Department officer and a suspect near Busch Gardens. And unfortunately, that suspect did not, he succumbed to his injuries. But fortunately, the police officer is recovering in surgery.
Yeah, injury to the leg, and that suspect that we're talking about in that previous incident died by his own hand, according to law enforcement as well. We have 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Eric Glasser there on the scene as he continues to gather more information from the sheriff's office. Of course, he's going to give us a more detailed update as he gets a chance to pull officials aside and ask some more questions about what took place this morning. But just moments ago, listening to Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister give us an overview of what was taking place out there, and you're looking at images from Sky 10 right now.
And we're going to show you right now, this is a live image of a bullet hole that went through that golf cart that some of the apartment staff were riding on as they were trying to check out the scene here. So you can see just how dangerous this situation was and how this could have had a very different result, a very different outcome. Sheriff Chad Chronister was talking about how fortunate they were in this incident to have just one person with minor injuries.
And it wasn't so much what he said there, Emerald, but how he said it. Sheriff Chad Chronister, typically really reserved, laid back, but just describing what deputies endured in the midst of all this chaos that took place. And we're talking about something that happened in the area of Campus Club Court in Tampa that's located near University Club Drive. And that is the Viridian Apartments there. The individual involved in all of this, 29-year-old Andrew Sinkellis, we are told that he was recently discharged from the U.S. Marine Corps, and he moved into that complex back in June.
Yeah, that's right. If we could go back out to that live shot, just want to highlight something again from that golf cart. Well, if we are not able to take it, you were just looking at an image of a bullet hole in that golf cart. And we were talking about earlier just how dangerous the day-to-day can be for our law enforcement officers. But just look, this highlights how dangerous an everyday situation can be just for someone trying to manage an apartment complex. I mean, these were people going out to try to check out what was happening, and they're confronted with a very violent situation in which there could have been a very, very different result.
A violent situation involving one individual at that time as well, because Sheriff Chad Chronister telling us just moments ago that that individual was seen stabbing the ground, barking, and saying something that was unintelligible. Nobody could understand what he was talking about. As you said, they told us he was behaving erratically.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to let you just take a quick listen in on what some of Sheriff Chad Chronister had to say about how this all went down.
Just before 10 a.m. this morning, a maintenance worker here at the apartment complex was on her routine driving throughout the complex and saw our suspect, Andrew Sinkellis, 29 years of age, stabbing the ground of the parking lot just outside his car. He was growling, barking like a dog, saying words that were unintelligible. She did the right thing. She didn't confront this individual. She went back to the apartment office, called 911, and notified her manager and as the assistant apartment manager. The two of them decided, hey, we're going to go out and see what's happening here today. There's been confrontations with this resident in the past. So they go out there, and as they pull up in their golf cart, he takes a firearm, points it at him, and so they immediately put the golf cart in reverse. He starts firing. He opens fire at that time. One of the bullets had struck the plexiglass area of the golf cart, and the ricochet caused a minor injury to the manager's arm. The bullets that he was firing also struck and entered 2 nearby apartments.
Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister recounting what took place as he spoke with employees of that apartment complex.
Yeah, that's right. And we have crews there at the scene, and we have 10 Tampa Bay's Asha Patel, who we expect to be live for us in just a moment. And maybe, I don't know if we have her up yet, but if we don't have her ready, just some of the things that you heard from Sheriff Chronister right there. All right, we do have Asha ready there. So Asha, you've been there at the scene. Please give us a breakdown of what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, Emerald. So the suspect's name is Michael Sinkelis, currently behind bars, and first had to go to the hospital to get checked out. But I want you guys to take a look at this golf cart. This is the golf cart involved right here. So I'm going to break down what happened this morning. We just heard from the sheriff before 10 this morning. A maintenance worker was on routine and saw the suspect, Michael Sinkelis, 29 years old, stabbing the ground, barking and growling. The maintenance worker then went to get a manager and other workers of the apartment. Then they go back and see Sinkelis, and he takes a firearm, points it at workers. Then he opens fire. At least 6 shots were fired. One of the bullets struck the plexiglass area of this golf cart here. I'm going to have Daisy zoom into that if she isn't already. And there were also bullets struck to 2 nearby apartments. But in all of this, there were minor injuries. Deputies then arrived. The suspect barricaded into his vehicle, and all he was doing was screaming. He was taking the firearm, putting it underneath his chin and head, and then he left that firearm on the passenger side. So during this time, deputies tried to de-escalate the situation. The SWAT team got here quickly. They discharged 4 rounds of gas, but that was ineffective. And since the gun was placed on the passenger side, the SWAT moved in, and they were able to get Michael under arrest. He was combative, so they had to tase him. But like I said, in all of this, there were very minor injuries. Now, Michael Sinkelis faces 2 counts of attempted murder, and he did move in very relatively just a few months ago. Actually, last month he moved in here in June after he was discharged from the United States Marine. Now I'm reporting live from Hillsborough County. Asha Patel, 10 Tampa Bay.
Asha, thank you so much for staying on top of this breaking story for us. We do want to just clarify something for you real quick. During the press conference, we had Sheriff Chad Chronister. He gave a couple of names for the suspects. So he gave the name Andrew Sinkelis, and he also gave the name Michael Sinkelis. So we are waiting for clarification to determine which one of those names is accurate, but I hope that you understand that during a breaking situation, we're getting information and we're reporting it as we get it. So as soon as we have clarification for sure on what that name is, of course, we will bring that to you.
We will definitely get that together for you with Sheriff Chad Chronister confirming all of that and then some. Imagine running from gunfire in that golf cart there. We also turned around some interviews from what people saw that took place this morning. Go ahead and take a listen in. If we have that sound, I understand that we're trying to turn it around right about now.
Michael Sinkelis is now facing 2 counts of attempted murder. We now know that he's a recent resident, a new resident of this apartment complex. He just moved in June of this year. We are told he moved here after he was discharged from the United States Marine Corps.
All right, so Sheriff Chad Chronister clarifying some of the information that we've been telling you over the past several minutes. Yeah,
that's right, and we want to let you listen in on another piece of information that he gave about why the suspect went to the hospital.
He did go to the hospital to get checked out. He's fine. The only thing wrong with him was the prongs, where the prongs went in. There's abrasions there, but again, no serious injuries to him or any law enforcement officer that responded to this incident scene here today.
As we We've told you this has indeed been a busy morning, right? So we were also covering an incident near Busch Gardens, and then this coming in just as we were on air with all the breaking news that took place. This incident happening roughly 4 miles from what was taking place at Busch Gardens.
Yeah, that's right. The other incident involving a Tampa Police Department officer. And so you can see right there on the map just how far away those events happened from each other. So just reiterating what Frank was saying here, just a very, very busy morning for law enforcement in Hillsborough County, particularly in this area. And again, as we've said before, this really shows how dangerous a situation can be and how quickly things can turn around. So we've had our law enforcement officers dealing with quite a bit this morning.
Yeah, it really speaks to the danger that they endure every single day that they put the badge on to protect and defend the community that they serve. The incident that took place earlier today that we were talking about, the officer that was shot is now said to be stable. 40-year-old officer, 10-year veteran, a father and a husband as well. So he was shot in the leg. This is after a conversation that took place right across from Busch Gardens. After that conversation wrapped up, by all accounts, it seemed as everything was okay. When the officer walked away, he was shot in the leg. The suspect, accused of pulling the trigger, then fled on foot. By the time he fled on foot and officers tried to catch up to him, we are told that he died by his own hand.
Yeah, that's right. And we also got a statement from Mayor Jane Castor, who also led the Tampa Police Department. And I can just read some of that to you. And she said, quote, "This shooting is a stark reminder of the dangers our officers face every day. I'm grateful the injured officer is expected to recover and deeply appreciative of the swift response by his fellow officers to render aid." So that's just a partial statement there from Mayor Jane Castor.
And the officer that we're talking about is Officer Jordan Loppert, right? So we were also told that he is in great spirits. If we have some video that we can showcase that we've shown viewers all throughout the morning of this breaking news coverage that we've put together. And the sound that we're going to go to, who are we talking to with this right here? Chief Lee Burghaw giving us an update on this situation. This news conference took place just a couple of hours ago. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Yes, he went through some preliminary medical treatment. I spoke to him at the hospital. He's in good spirits. He's actually joking around. I spoke to his daughter. He's got a young daughter, a 19-year-old. She was obviously very concerned. His wife was on the way. But they're all relieved that he's conscious and alert and that he's doing okay.
And I had a conversation this morning with the president of the Tampa Police Union. And one of the things they talked about that they're taking donations for the family. But, they also talked about how they step in when an officer is injured in the line of duty, bringing the family food. He said that he checked in as soon as the family got to the hospital just to kind of comfort, the rest of the family. And then just also talked about, providing the family anything that they need in their time of distress, because as you can imagine, this is the call that you never want to get, when you have a loved one who serves in law enforcement. So a very, very difficult situation at this moment, but there were a lot of people there standing in support of this officer.
This really speaks to community, right? So, and we know it as something of a care package from the community as they're taking up donations and just going in to show their support.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I was also talking with a school resource officer who says that he knows this officer very well, great person as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to take you back to the coverage that we got right now from Sheriff Chad Chronister, just briefing us on an incident that took place this morning. 6 shots fired because of an individual who, Michael Sinkelis, we're told 29 years old, moved into an apartment complex just 4 miles from Busch Gardens. And a known person to the community out there at that apartment complex has only been there since June, but maintenance worker actually happening upon Mr. Sinkelis as he was stabbing the ground, barking, and behaving erratically.
Yeah, that's right. And Sheriff Chad Chronister said that maintenance worker who noticed this erratic behavior went to the apartment managers, did not confront the suspect. That was very key in this whole situation. Very important to go directly to 911, to law enforcement. And we are told that this man apparently had confrontations with those who are at the apartment prior to today. So this this was a situation that obviously unfolded in a very, very dangerous way. We know that those apartment managers, after that maintenance worker went to go get their attention, they came out on that golf cart where we saw that very, very harrowing image of the bullet hole through that plexiglass that shielded those people on that golf cart. We know that the ricochet from that bullet ended up hitting the apartment manager in the arm as they tried to just defuse this entire situation. So not just for law enforcement, a very dangerous situation.